Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I'm Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy this morning. We'll take your phone calls the entire 2 hours. 256-234-6221 is our phone number, and please give us a call. If you got things going on in your community around the state of Alabama, we want to hear about it. This opening hour may not be a full hour of high school talk, Scott, but there's always recruiting news. There's 7-on-7s. There's all-state teams being announced throughout the state. North-South All-Star games are coming up, and we'll have some broadcasts coming your way with the AHSAA. But busy time around the Lake Martin region, too. And we'll kick the show off this morning talking about, an event that you helped lead last night, and it was an outstanding event. Benjamin Russell High School had their quarterback club meeting last night. It wasn't necessarily a meeting. It was more of a drawdown fundraiser for the program as a whole. And I had this question last night. So you as the president, you as the leader of this thing, how long has the drawdown been going on, Scott? Do you have any idea?
I'd have to think close to 15, maybe more than 15 years, early 2010s for sure. It's become a staple amongst the athletic department and what that means to the community and the football program itself. But I was very, very pleased and excited to see the turnout, then the engagement and momentum that appears to be swirling around the program. But very, very pleased with the community as well and how supportive they've always been. And without community support and appropriate sponsors, you can't lead the program the way that you'd like to be able to compete with the teams that we're competing against.
Well, I think that's a great segue, and let's talk about that. And Coach Grider will be on with us at 8 o'clock. But there's a lot of great things going on in the community from an economic standpoint to facility standpoint. We've won a lot of ball games, too, in the last 2 years. Look, I said this to someone last night, one of the conversations I was having there. I said, as long as you're winning, people aren't complaining near as much as they normally would. If you weren't winning, then you'll start even getting more complaints than the normal. And I don't care how great you are, how great your community, how great your program is, there's going to be people that complain and don't like what's going on. But Coach Grider's won 18 games in his first 2 years. Went to the quarterfinals and lost in a close one to go to the semis last year in 6A, where I think we were the smallest public school in Class 6A, and very competitive. And I think that's where the conversation was around, was that enrollment and things like that. But, Scott, there's a lot of positive things going on. And one that we've taken advantage of fully, led by Alan Cutts up there, is the Russell Marine location on Highway 280 in Alexander City. About every event that I go to in the community's there now. Beautiful facility, and we're very lucky to have it, to go along with the new school being built, new sports facilities that are coming with that maybe we can touch on here in this opening segment. But just overall, good positive sense, and I know you're involved in a lot of it.
Yeah, and, we talk about it frequently on the show, but the trajectory of a community a lot of times, or the enthusiasm about a community is tied to the success of its athletics. And I think over the last 2 years we've seen a different outlook on things, and people have been a little more positive, as you said. And so when you're winning, not necessarily saying winning football games or baseball, basketball, softball, that is going to change whether or not your community is at a certain poverty level or change the income level. But what it does is provide something that can unify the community and bring everybody together. And so sports has always been able to do that, but in communities like ours, it's even more pertinent. But as you said, there's a lot of positive happening. We have a couple new partners from a job development growth standpoint. Sawmill's coming, so that's 130 jobs that we anticipate that will be pretty high paying. We're still working through some of the things with the graphite plant, but you combine that with what you've seen with the public's development, the oncoming or onboarding of Wicker Point and what that's going to do from a property tax standpoint and how that'll be able to go back into our education system, new superintendent, new high school coming. So I think that there's a lot of positive, and that also is tied to our athletics. And again, that was on display last night, and we can go through some of the sponsors when Coach Grotter gets on, but you can't survive without people like you bring up a Russell Lands. You're part of the group as well with LMG. I mean, there are people who in every community people rely on, and we're very fortunate to have a large supply of those.
Well, you talked about our new superintendent here in Alexander City, and Brett has talked about it at length with his role on the Board of Education. But Jay Reyes has been here before. It was great to see him and his wife last night. He looks wonderful, by the way. He looks spry and young and full of life, and it was great to see him. And I think that a lot of people here are excited. He loves sports. He was a really good athlete himself. I've witnessed it. We played him in a pickup basketball game one time, and the first 2 times I brought the ball down the court, he stole it from me. And I said, well, I wasn't expecting this. And but Jay he really has a passion for sports, and he knows how much it can mean to a community and how much that can drive leadership within the school when you have strong athletic programs. And I think that's a key part. Not that we have had a bad stretch. We haven't. We've had a good stretch, but you'd like to continue it on. I think we got a really good leader coming that cares about that and really wants to see that expand.
Yeah, and, this weekend, in the same vein, we are having a massive softball tournament here that LXC is hosting, and this is an opportunity to display Alex City and show what we have to offer, but also as a mechanism for driving tourism dollars through sports. And so I think that that's something that we maybe haven't taken advantage of as much as we probably could have. And there's various reasons for that to take place. But I think that now we're understanding that the communities, not necessarily from an athletic standpoint, but the communities we're also competing for revenue and for newcomers, new business, it matters now. So taking advantage of the lake and compounding that with what the Sportplex has to offer, Alex City should be a hub for parks and recreation activities. And I know that there are a lot of people who are trying to do some things behind the scenes to get that going. But overall, the trajectory of the community is moving upwards, and that also correlates to what's happening with our athletics and academics as well. So very excited about where we're going.
Well, and let's hit again on travel sports. It's that time of year. There's many out there. That's all they're doing. They're bouncing around from one softball to one baseball tournament. Soccer tournaments are going on everywhere. It is a massive business. You worked in it with the Alabama State games, and so you saw it a little bit behind the scenes, and then you also have good friends. I'm not just speaking for you, Scott, but you got good friends that are in tourism departments that really get this. I don't understand it. You got to have some people that really understand that it's not necessarily just the Parks and Rec and just the city that's expected to go out there every weekend and maybe work umpteen hours to run tournaments. Yes, that can happen every once in a while like it is this weekend. But for the most part in the communities, and I've been involved in travel basketball the last 2 years, so it's the one thing that I see. And a lot of those tournaments have been in Hoover. And they've got a lot of facilities, which really helps them. But this thing's not run by the city of Hoover. This thing is run by an individual and a partnership of individuals that is their business. And they make very, very good money, I would guess, running this business. But they run it exceptionally well. So maybe talk to that, because there are a lot of people out there, and I think you and I have been one in the past that go, why can we not have a tournament every weekend? Why can we not understand how much tourism that would drive and how much money that would mean from a tax standpoint to the community? Why can we not get that? Well, the more that I get into it, the more that I realize the ones that are really, really doing it well are these people that do it for a living.
Yeah, and, we're fortunate that this is a state tournament that we're hosting, and this is, under Parks and Rec.
It's an all-star tournament.
It's an all-star tournament. Yeah. So what has allowed us to get this the last couple of years is that we put on a good show, and we're doing things a little bit differently. But you bring up a good point that it's not necessarily just the Parks and Rec department or your city things like this take business input as well. You want to make sure you're coordinating with your hotels, coordinating with all your hospitality entities and any other type of business that can reflect positively on the community, because people are watching. A lot of times, too, people come in for a week or two before they start looking to see where they're going to see a tournament and get interactions. It's the same thing with like a developer coming in and looking and getting a temperament for the community. The same thing happens here. So, I would get a little frustrated back in the day, and I would see Millbrook host, and it's no knock on Millbrook. I'm just saying, like, we're comparable in terms of size.
Very comparable, yes.
I'm like, what is it that they're doing that we're not? And so I think that with the leadership that we've seen in the Parks Rec, particularly Nick Hand, who handles the athletics, he has done a really great job of networking and getting himself involved and letting people know that we're open for business. I think that takes a big step forward, too, is letting people know we're actually equipped to handle it. And I think that as we get further along the line and we see the type of tax revenue that can be generated from that and what that's able to do for a community standpoint, I think you'll still see people try to get more involved in that. But it's an exciting time, too, because you talk about travel ball. A lot of our friends now have kids that are in that age group where that's what they're doing now. So they can bring things to the table and say, well, we just played in Oxford and this is what they're doing. Or we were just in Birmingham and this is what they're doing. And so while we may not be Millbrook. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't bring up one. Go and check out the new facilities.
17 Spring, yeah.
Well, it's Millbrook's amazing facilities that are going up. And look, I cheer all of these communities that are 30, 45 minutes from us. Please go expand on your facilities, because that will keep us from having to go an hour and a half to play. Sand Mountain was all the rave a couple of years ago, and they spent even at that time, $80 million on a facility, and it's state of the art. And this week, Prep Baseball, I think, has been there, and they've had their showcases going on. We've had a lot of our baseball kids here in the local community up there and participating and getting seen, and I've been watching it on social media, so that's been great to see. But it takes a commitment, a major commitment, and take advantage of getting out there today and go and check out how much work goes on behind the scenes. I'm going to head over. My niece is playing at 11:30. I look forward to going over and watching her. And my wife and I were having this discussion last night, and I know we're up against a break, but talking about travel sports. I mean, you can knock it. You're more than welcome to sit there and say, I think it's ridiculous, it's too much, you shouldn't be spending that much on kids. But go play some of these teams that have been together for 3 or 4 years. I witness it down at my own shop. My great friend Josh Brewer he's built a machine. But they've been working at it since they were 6 years old, Scott. And now you go play them, you recognize that those girls have been playing together for 6 or 7 years. And, yeah, they can play up 2 or 3 ages because they're so used to playing together. And if you go and play them and you haven't, oh, man, it's just an annihilation. So it is what it is. You choose what you care about, and if you want to compete, buddy, you'll get out there and you'll start playing. I have realized that over the years. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Love to hear from you out there.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control, with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Scott, a couple of weeks ago, we had baseball come to a culmination, a lot of state champions crowned out there, some great players here in this state each and every year that are moving on to play at big SEC programs. We've got the College World Series going on right now. You know, I witnessed the other night a walk-off for Kentucky, which was a bomb to left field from a kid from Bob Jones. Bob Jones wins the state championship in Class 7A this year. The player of the year in Class 7A was Braden Booth out of Bob Jones, headed to Mississippi State. By the way, he was also the pitcher of the year. I think he hit 3 or 4 home runs.
So what he was player of the year and pitcher of the year?
Player of the year. You're going to see this a lot, though. The player of the year will be the pitcher of the year or the hitter of the year. So the Alabama Sports Writers Association here in the state, they're going to name a player of the year, pitcher of the year, hitter of the year, and coach of the year in each one of these classifications. Very interesting to see which ones actually get multiples of those. And a lot of times you'll see that. But he was, yes, the pitcher of the year. Who only knows what he's going to do. I think he hit 3 home runs in the 3-game set in Class 7A against Phoenix City.
Yeah.
So you know the arms that he's dealing with. So Braden Booth, just a special talent out of Bob Jones High School. The hitter of the year, also out of Bob Jones, Zach Johnson. So they almost took a clean sweep of all of the players coach. But the coach of the year was up in that same area. Johnny Johnson from James Clemens. They lose a close series against Bob Jones to go to the state championship after they won in the quarters against Hoover. So James Clemens had an outstanding year. But, Scott, that was just the segue I was going to say. There's a part of this state that I don't think we talk about near as much as we do the other, and that's the northern part of this state. You see it a lot with basketball. It is a mecca for high school basketball, and it always has. You know, I remember the first state championship games that we were calling was Bob Jones, and it was Levi Randolph was their point. I think he was a 9th grader at the time. And Reggie Ragland was a center, and he was a 9th grader at the time. So Bob Jones was kind of there every year, and I was like, I mean, is Huntsville this good? Yes, Huntsville is this good at everything. They haven't quite gotten there in football, which is a little bit of a surprise, though. I see that changing in the years to come.
Yeah, when we start looking at the semifinals and getting ready for the state championships, and typically your South teams are the ones who have pretty much dominated on the football side.
Outside of Birmingham.
But I do see that changing when you look at a place like Huntsville or Madison County, where they continue to grow, one of the fastest growing places, not only in the state but in the country. You're starting to get more families in, and so that only will boost your athletic programs.
You know, a couple of other local area kids in Class 7A making first-team All-State. We'll call Phoenix City close to us. Cam Norton was a pitcher, only a sophomore from Phoenix City, first-team All-State. Henry Allen, who's also, I think, going to Mississippi State. Auburn High School senior, he's an infielder. infielder, outstanding bat. He was first-team All-State. You're looking down through here, Braden McCrane from Smith Station, also a senior infielder, first-team All-State. Finishing it out, Tanner Waldrop from Auburn High School, DH, left-handed bat, going to Auburn University to play first-team All-State, and Landon Beaver from Central Phoenix City, a senior infielder. So 4 or 5.
What a hotbed.
Yeah, I mean, that Columbus market has always, and I know that y'all went over there and had to play a good bit too, Scott, and they were in your region a good bit when you were in high school, but it is a mecca for high school baseball, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, they're just kind of going back to the segment before, all of these guys are travel ball guys. They all play together.
Yep.
I mean, so you may have guys from Auburn and Phoenix City playing together, Smith Station and Auburn playing together, but it's it shows you how successful they've been because of that.
Yeah, they put the work in, and it is all paying off. And when you watch them play, you can tell the difference between their skill set and others. Moving down to Class 6A, Hillcrest Tuscaloosa wins the state championship in Class 6A, so you'll see their names a good bit on these player and coaches of the year. Jackson Henderson was the player of the year and the pitcher of the year. He had an uncle and a father that played here at Central Alabama Community College. Think a lot of his dad. His dad was a great pitcher, Shane. His uncle played at Alabama. Both pitched at Alabama, actually. And Heath was part of that stretch in the late 90s where they were playing for national championships. Lost a close national championship that I think he pitched in against LSU in the late 90s. But so he's got a great baseball pedigree in him. And congratulations to Jackson, who hit a home run, a key home run after pitching a majority of Game 3 to win that state championship over Hartselle. Hits a late home run, and they win that game 7-6. So congratulations to him. JoJo Williamson from Hartselle is the hitter of the year, and then your coach of the year is from Hillcrest Tuscaloosa, Mark Gardner. You and I have seen that program. I guess it was last year.
Yeah.
Benjamin Russell matched up with them in the first round as they had to travel here. We knew they were talented, and they really were. They got Big Batwell, got a couple of guys, including Jackson, that can hit the baseball out of the park, and not surprised to see them win one.
Yeah, and you could see it last year. They had a core group of guys that they didn't get all the way, but coming back, they had a returning lineup and rotation that was going to put them at the top, and it was reflected in the outcome.
A couple of local area kids making first-team All-State in Class 6A, Carter Johnson, senior infielder from Oxford High School. Nick Richardson, also from Oxford High School, is a utility player, named first-team All-State, and that's really it here in the local market for Class 6A. Oxford's as strong a program, top to bottom, in 6A as you can ask for in just about every sport.
And they've been good in baseball. I mean, we didn't get to match up with them a lot, but we'd play in tournaments against them, and they had dudes then, and so that's continued, and they've invested back. They've got some of the best parks and facilities in the state as well. So that's a community that will continue to have success in athletics.
Yeah, they definitely will. In Class 5A, this is a local market kid that's heading to Auburn University that was the player of the year, and that's Jackson Sanders. Big left-hand pitcher from Valley High School. Valley, what a couple of years for them. You know, I think they were really good in football, not quite to a championship level. Outstanding in basketball. Winning a state championship with that junior class 2 years ago, and then they come back and make it back to the Final Four with only a couple of losses in this senior year, and then you see what kind of baseball program they have right now. So tip your hat to Valley, Alabama. And Jackson Sanders is your player of the year. Your pitcher of the year is from Alexandria. That is Andrew Allen, and then the hitter of the year is from St. Paul, so this one's mixed around a little bit, and John Stowers, and then the coach of the year comes from Alexandria as well, and Zach Welch. But congratulations, Jackson Sanders, and you hear a lot of these players of the year staying in the SEC, and Auburn's taking advantage and picking up a couple of these guys.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. You can already see now, and I mean, you have to think that the NIL is helping offset some of the scholarship limitations, but Auburn doing a really good job, Alabama as well, but keeping these in-state guys.
Class 4A, let's run down before we go to our next break. Player of the year is Christian Chatterton. I think he's coming to Auburn too. Really good bat from Brooks High School. That's a great high school. For those of you that maybe don't keep up with athletics as much as Scott. They are good in everything. They're good in football. They're great in basketball. I've seen them in the Final Four multiple times, and they're really good. And some of these communities just get it and know how to do it. Congratulations. I got one of my best friends lives in Corner, Alabama. His wife is from that area, and he's been talking about this class from Corner because he's got a son that's in this senior class that plays basketball, doesn't play baseball, but he's been talking about how special they are. And Corner, make it to the quarterfinal or semifinal in football, have a really good basketball year. They make it to the regionals last year in basketball, and then they win the state championship in baseball this year with a number of guys that are moving on to play big college baseball. Eli Cannon was the pitcher of the year for Corner High School. The hitter of the year is Carson Smith from North Jackson, and the coach of the year, Caleb Hoyle from Corner, as they win their first state championship in school history in Class 4A. So congratulations to them. We'll go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we're going to run down 3A through 1As, our Players of the Year, Hitter of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, all brought to you by the Alabama Sports Writers Association.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best-kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Got a few phone calls coming up in the second hour of the show today. Smitty Grider will be on with us at the 8 o'clock hour, so looking forward to catching up with him as Benjamin Russell. And there's that phone. Let's see if we can answer it from out here. Caller, you're on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hey, this is Brett.
Oh, glad to have you, Brett. Brett, we've got the phone ringing out here in the studio with us today, so hang in there with us. That's the reason you're getting the answer from us. We know you're on vacation, but you never run away from sports, do you, down there?
No, I don't think unfortunately, I don't think anybody ever goes on vacation anymore unless you just turn your phone off. So maybe I need to learn that lesson.
A lot going on, Brett. We've talked a lot about the local community, and just kick it over to you, things that are going on that you think are important here to pass along to the community out there.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think we're experiencing the most growth in our community that we've seen in our lifetime. So a lot to be proud of on a lot of different fronts, from economic development, retail, to education. A lot of these things being built. When you come into a community and you see construction going on, it's a sign of progress. And we've had people come up to us the last 6 months that have either moved back here or been coming through for the first time in a long time, and they just talk about how much it's changed. And so it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. We're blessed to be in a part of the state that a lot of people want to live in, and we're reaping the benefits of that, and I think that'll only continue to get better. And you see communities that are flourishing, they look the exact same. They're investing in their education system. They're investing in shops and retail for their citizens and for visitors, and we got a lot of assets to be proud of.
Brett, appreciate you calling this morning. I've had a lot of communication out there in the community and around talking about our expansion of our contract with the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and I want to tee you up there and let you have this segment to really talk about how much that partnership has meant to us as a group. I say us because Scott's been with us really from day one as well, and we've got a lot of us that are in this community and in surrounding communities and now all throughout the state that really look at this brand and make sure that we, take care of this brand and do the best that we can in providing quality content for high school athletes here in the state. So talk about it, talk about the expansion and how old we're going to look when this thing comes to a culmination.
Well, I mean, I think the one thing that outside of being humble and appreciative is how hard we've worked. I mean, it just doesn't happen overnight, and you don't just snap your fingers and put something like this together. It's way bigger than just us. You have to have people in this state that believe in what you do, and we have had a lot of radio stations and partners throughout the years, and a lot of them have been with us since day one, so they've been on this journey with us this long, and then they are the ones that make the network. We don't make the network. They make the network. We just provide the product. So that's what we've focused on, and, we've surrounded ourselves with great people that love the industry as well and love high school athletics, and it makes our job easy when you do that. But we did. We built it from the ground up. It's something that, when you leave this world one day, whenever the good Lord sees fit, you want to leave a legacy. You want to leave something behind that you've accomplished that people can point to. And I think this will be it for us. I think that by the time 2035 comes around, Lord knows what comes after that. But that's as you said in the newspaper, that made a career out of it. And I'm excited. I think our better days are ahead of us. I think we've got a lot of opportunity to do even more than we've done to this point. But the Alabama High School Athletic Association is a great organization. They have the best interests of the kids at the forefront. I know a lot of times they have to deal and make decisions that are unpopular, but I can promise you that the people that make the decisions have the best interest of the student athletes at heart first, and that's really all that matters, and they never lose focus of that. So, yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to continue this journey and see where we can go with it.
It's wild to think of how much social media, content creation, all of the things that have changed over the last 18 years since we started doing this, and to try to explain that to someone for an article or anything is impossible. And I was making mention, I see how much, and Scott I'm sure is involved with this too, but I see how much AI is changing everything out there, and if you don't embrace that, you're going to get run behind even in the business world. But maybe hit on that as we close, Brett. We try to stay on the cutting edge. If there are ideas out there, if there are differing ways to get solid content out on our high school kids and the programs and the coaches, We want to do that, and a lot of times it takes interaction with parents and schools to get that information to us because it's just not as accessible. You would think in today's world it would be more accessible than it ever was. That is not the case. It's probably tougher now, but it also opens up a lot of opportunities out there.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. You got to be able, to me, to grow something, to have longevity, to have sustained success, you got to be able to change. You got to be able to grow with the times, and that's in anything. I mean, you go back and if offenses in football continue to run the wishbone like they did in the 70s, you probably wouldn't be very successful in college. You have to morph and change. You have to change your defensive mindset based on the type of athletes and the type of offenses you're having to defend, and no different in the business world. When technology grows and expands, if you don't expand and learn and make the changes that you need to make, you won't be around much longer. So I think we've done a really good job of that and utilizing social media and filling a void. Like you said, there's a void in local media coverage now because newspapers aren't what they used to be. Let's just be honest. We're blessed to have a local newspaper that still thrives here in Alexander City and Lake Martin, but most of these communities around the country don't have that luxury anymore, and you lose that local coverage of your high school athletics, and that's where we've kind of stepped in, and you've had that vision with social media and what we've done on that side, and you pretty much headed that part up, and it has really exploded. I mean, you can see the amount of followers that we have and the amount of traction we have, and we also see the thankfulness from, like you said, the communities that we're able to provide this exposure for their kids. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting that. It would be a massive void in coverage. So, yeah, we've learned over the years. I mean, none of us are immune to learning, and you got to listen to people, and you got to see what the needs are out there. And we've kind of morphed and adapted our network to handle those changes. So, but yeah, excited about moving forward and looking forward to seeing where we go from here.
Appreciate it, Brett. Y'all have a great trip. Be safe coming back.
All right, thanks, guys.
Brett Pritchard there. We'll go ahead and take another break. We come back again, 3A through 1A baseball. We'll talk about all-state teams, players of the year, hitters of the year, coach of the year, all of that. A couple of local area products that are in those final three classifications.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Daytonville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
there's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at BamaSheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, 256-234-6221. Got about an hour and 15 minutes left here on the program, and love to hear from you. If you have storylines around the state of Alabama that you would like for us to talk about, we'd love to talk to you. Class 3A, the Player of the Year is from Lauderdale County, Miles Edwards. The Pitcher of the Year is from Thomasville. That's Charles Morris. Hitter of the Year from right here in Montgomery, Tabor Alford. And then the Coach of the Year is Clint Anderson, also from Thomasville, Alabama. So congratulations to them. Let's see if there's any local area talent that's part of that Class 3A first team. We've got one more here from Montgomery Academy, and Rick McBride, who's a designated hitter from Montgomery Academy, again, a senior. So congratulations to them in Class 3A. Down to Class 2A, Miles Tyler is the Player of the Year from Ayrton, Alabama. Aiden Poe from Vincent was your Pitcher of the Year. Your Hitter of the Year was from Wicksburg. Gabe Glover, and the Coach of the Year, Donovan Hand from Red Bay. So every school, 4 different schools getting talked about there. There is one local area player that was named to the Class 2A First Team All-State, and that was Blake Smith from Reeltown, designated hitter, real big, tall kid that's committed. We just gave him the Lake Martin Area Athlete of the Week this week, committed to Huntington to continue his baseball career. I think he's 6'6", about 190 pounds. Reeltown can get the athletes over there, buddy, and so congratulations to him. And then moving down as we finish out 7A through 1A. In Class 1A, your Player of the Year was Landon Shoemate from Summerton Christian. He was also the Pitcher of the Year. The Hitter of the Year was from Florala, Dalton Jackson. And the Coach of the Year is Tyler Zesson, also from Florala. Really no local area kids to mention in Class 1A. Scott, baseball is, if anything, growing. I think the amount of talent that's being produced here in the state of Alabama from a population standpoint is second to none. It's always been an important sport here, but with the emergence and the strength of travel and how many teams and how many communities are committed to trying to stay competitive in baseball, it just gets better and better every year.
Yeah, and, you brought up travel ball earlier in the show, and, whether or not people think that that's good or not. And I do see sides of it where you say, that's a lot of games for somebody to be playing and all that. But it's one of those things where out of necessity you have to do it, from a personal standpoint, to be able to get yourself surrounded by other people who are as good or can make you better. And then, too, when you come back to your respective high schools to be able to compete with these other teams, they're all doing it, too. So if you want to compete and have successful teams and teams that are going to put out good products, it's inevitable that you're going to have to do it. So I get both sides, but I've seen enough to know now that without it, maybe you don't agree with it, but without it, you won't get the same production. Not to say kids aren't as good if they don't play, but you're losing some of the momentum that maybe somebody who's played 65 games over a summer period and you've going out and pitch one time, like just doing whatever you're doing with your play dates with your high school, you won't be able to sustain that type of success when you're competing against the teams that we just spoke about, 7 through 1A.
It's tough. It's a tough I've been in text threads over the last month about it because I have so many friends that are engaged, and that's their life now. And I would say for a large majority of the last few years, it's been what we've done too. And I can only speak on the sports that I'm involved in. So I'll speak on basketball. And there's some communities here in this state. There's one in Montgomery. It's a Boys and Girls Club in Montgomery. We lost to them 2 different times in championship games. Scott, that Boys and Girls Club director holds 6 practices a week. The kids that commit to his team must practice 5 times a week. You know, the second time we lost to them in a championship game, Wes and I, Coach Coleman and I looked at each other and go, I wonder how much these kids are practicing. Because you could see it out there. I mean, they were doing things at 10 years old that the only way now we have some very talented kids, but to be able to work together and play together and know what your coach is telling you, you can be special and you can be talented, but it's time. It's time. And, you know, and we had that talk with the coach. He's like, look, they can choose not to. They ain't got to be a part of my program. But, you know, so there are communities out there. There's one in Birmingham that's the same, that they're really working at it. And you can see from one year to the next the amount of progression. And there's no question why these communities that keep winning when they get to high school, why they're doing it, man. It's because they're putting in so much time. And, you know, we're lucky here in our community because we're close to some of those. We may not necessarily be doing it in our community, but a lot of our kids are traveling around and competing in some of those. So, you know, I do see that. And
well, let me ask this.
Yeah.
So from you say Montgomery and Birmingham, just for conversation purposes, for a community our size, do you think it makes it difficult for people to be a part of some of these travel groups? Because you pretty much have to say, well, then that's only not – I don't want to say specialized, but you almost have to, because you can't – we don't – a lot of these other communities, some of your large ones, they probably have enough talent to go around that you can say, all right, I'm just going to play baseball or just play basketball. Community our size, we don't have that same luxury to be able to say, you know, if you don't want to play this sport, it's okay. We got 2 or 3 more that can do it. Does that make it a little more difficult in a community like ours?
I don't know. I think you got to pick and choose which ones you're going to really embrace and then try to give kids in that community. The thing that concerns me about our community, say basketball, because you and I, you know, are a little bit more engaged in that. If you don't have something structured, they're just not playing. And it's fine. You may say, okay, well, we'll catch them up. Well, good luck. Good luck catching them up when a kid in Montgomery that's just as talented as our kids, they're practicing 5 or 6 days a week. So I think what those communities, some of them not from affluent areas, I think the communities, people like you that are on city council, they say, okay, our kids love this sport and they need this sport and we think it's important. So we're going to take resources, Boys and Girls Club. We're going to put leaders in place that care about it. We're going to make sure that they're paid a fair wage and they're going to make money. This is not just some gifting. And we're going to, you know, try to grow this sport because this sport right here. I hope I'm answering it. Now, the question is, can we create something here that is the same as what you see maybe in those communities you brought up? Very difficult. Very difficult if there's not funding out there to offset the high costs that it takes to do this. I mean, unless you luck into a parent or someone like that in a community like ours that's going to take that responsibility on and try to build something themselves, good luck. Because all of those communities, they're money makers. You know, like my daughter plays and my son's about to be playing on and I don't think they'd mind me saying, but a travel organization out of Auburn in soccer. And it's unbelievable, Scott. I mean, there's multiple teams in every age group, boys and girls. They've got great coaches, like high school level coaches, college level coaches that are making a very good wage coming out there and teaching kids. And you can either want to do something like that and give your kids that opportunity. You don't have to choose that. But in the bigger communities, they have the capabilities of doing that. So there is no good answer here.
No, I mean, the funding, I think, probably does. That plays a part. People, you have to have complete buy-in from everyone to understand. And so I think that, a decade ago, a little more than that, when you and Brett and some others started the Sports Foundation, and I know we've had some conversation about that recently, but you almost have to have something like that again of some people who are dedicated to doing that specifically to maybe take some of the pressure off of a municipality from being the sole funder of something. So now the community, from my perspective, we do have a responsibility to provide the facilities and build up and maintain those to a point to where we're able to provide that for our local student athletes and people coming through and from various other communities. But on the flip side, it does take, unfortunately, a lot of times it does take that parent engagement or participation, and it's pretty much going to be the same ones always. And so we can have that conversation for a later day too. But it does require a complete effort from everyone doing their part to make it work. And so I think it would bode well for us as a community, maybe start that conversation back to say, okay, this is what our kids are wanting to do. And instead of them doing it here or having the opportunity here, they're having to go travel somewhere else. So that means during that time period, they're spending gas money there, they're going to hotels there, they're eating there, and that's revenue. Like, if you want to get people's attention, you start talking about money, and that'll make people's ears perk up. So I think if from a city's perspective, something that we can maybe help facilitate is making sure we're investing the appropriate amount of funds in our facilities and making sure that we're being able to provide. Like, we just had a big news over the last week. Tom and Riley Gorey are opening up a training facility, and that's something that I think the community needs. And there's some other things down the line that probably will help aid in that as well. But we didn't even have that. Like, people didn't even have anywhere to go. So without the batting cages at the Sportplex or going to CAC, if you were doing baseball, you didn't even have an option for that. So from a gym perspective with basketball, you're limited there. We have facilities, but they may not be in the condition where you really want people out there using that. So I think from a city perspective, that's something that we can help aid in, and then finding out what it is our community wants and needs, and then trying to help supplement that through other investors and parent participation.
I'm cheering you on. If I had answers, I would give them, but I really don't. But it's difficult out there, but there are some communities that are just they're amazing to watch. They really are, and how organized they can get, and how, when everybody's pulling in the same direction, how great it can be in particular sports. It may
and
not
it's
be
not
all
a
of
demographic thing either. Like, I don't want anybody, like, it, that doesn't, this is sports.
This Montgomery group, whatever demographic you have in your mind of an affluent community, and it's run outstanding. The coach he can coach mine. I drive mine 45 minutes to go be coached by him every day. That's how much I was impressed by him over there. So it is what it is. No, it's not. That has zero to do with it, but it is a funding game. Let's don't kid ourselves with that. A lot of times it is. 256-234-6221. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
With summer here, the kids out of school, and fun at the lake, illness or injury can strike at any time. Whether you're on vacation or just don't have time to go see your primary doctor, visit your friends and professionals at Ivy Creek Urgent Care, located at Highway 49 South, next to Stillwater's main entrance, with a rotation of 4 professional doctors and 3 nurse practitioners. They honor all walk-ins, get you in, properly treated, and out swift so you can be back to the summer fun fast. When you need urgent, see Ivy Creek Urgent Care, Daveville. No appointment needed.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
The good guys at Alex City Marine are ready for your boating needs all summer. And now you can get up to $4,500 in rebates on our huge selection of new Landau Tri-Tunes and sacrifice pricing on remaining 23 models. Alex City Marine also has a new fleet of rental boats for fabulous days on the water. Whether it's service, new pontoon selections, or rental boats, see the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road in Alexander City or online at alexcitymarine.com.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. Tony Sarah Ford has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Ford and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Right now, valued customers receive up to $4,000 on select 2023 F-150 trucks plus 1.9% APR, or a new Bronco Sport for $393 a month plus $750 bonus cash. Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Tony Sarah Ford in Sylacauga.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Quick segment here, a couple of minutes, and we'll go ahead and take a break. At the top of the hour, we'll have Coach Smitty Grider from Benjamin Russell High School on the phone with us to discuss last night's quarterback club drawdown, talk about 7-on-7s, talk about some of his kids that are some of the top recruits here in the state and in the country, and then talk about the upcoming season, because there's some games on the schedule this year that all of us are excited to see. Some teams back on the schedule, including Opelika, that haven't been there in quite some time, and talk about the spring game a little bit that they had with Auburn, and just some of the expectations moving into next year. But Scott, to close out high school sports here in this state, it was another great year. There was a lot of talent here in the state that I think is going to move on, and we'll be watching for the years to come. But, you know, there's a couple of things that I'll close out this year with and we'll keep talking, but I'll kind of close out the thought process with. NIL hasn't been decided on, really. I mean, other than the decision has been that we're not going to allow it here in the state of Alabama. But all the bordering states have it. I don't know the answers to this. All I know is it makes everything more difficult, doesn't it, in smaller communities, local communities. And if you're a city next to a state that has that option, and you've got a special kid, and that kid money can be thrown at that kid to come and play, and we've always kind of seen it in basketball, but just not as much in the other sports. But maybe close out with your thoughts on how this is all going to play out. And I don't think any of us really know how it's going to play out, but it's going to be a difficult road to hoe over the next decade or so, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the AHSAA has new leadership now with Harmon, and I think that's going to be something that has to be addressed pretty quickly on what direction the state's going to take. But the same way we're talking about it from a high school perspective, that's what pushed the state of Alabama to kind of loosen some things from a collegiate perspective, was when you had your bordering states doing one thing and you weren't doing it. So now, as the head coach of Alabama or Auburn, I can't do the same things that other people are doing, so you're limiting my opportunity for success, which then puts a damper on some things from an economic standpoint for the state too. So ultimately, I think that it probably will happen in some capacity, but I think it needs some actual – I like the slow play a little bit, because we've rushed into this a lot with just saying, oh, we'll do this, and if it doesn't work, we can step back. No, once you open up the gates for some of this stuff, there is no letting it back. So I do like the strategic approach of saying what works best for us. Now, we have to do something, but it may not have to match what some of the other places are doing, but we have to do something to be able to compete, because when you have people in Mobile or in Auburn or North Alabama that close to these states, that they could go to Troup County or they could go to Louisiana or Mississippi or Florida, yeah, that changes some things. So there are some people who are involved that are much smarter than me who will be able to make these decisions and figure it out. But the way that I've heard Alvin Briggs relay it is, NIL is available now. If Chair Company in Alex City wants to sponsor a kid and say, hey, we want to put you in some photos, you do whatever you want to there. As long as you don't have on the actual BR logo, you can do what you want. So there are opportunities there, but I think really focusing in on how it impacts us moving forward from a recruiting standpoint and all of those things, from combining that on the college side, how does that impact us in comparison to other states? So a lot of times we are the slower of states to do things, but I think this is one thing where taking a slow play approach may be the best way, because now you can really look at some things from a data perspective and understand what the future forecast has.
Not an easy answer, but one that we'll cover. We won't be the ones making the decisions, but we'll be the ones passing along information as we hear them out there. Go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll have Coach Smitty Grider from Benjamin Russell High School on the phone with us.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Since 1908, many talented tradesmen and women have proudly represented the Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air name. We are grateful for their commitment to excellence, always providing our clients with quality work that we're glad to guarantee with 100% satisfaction. No matter the problem, the Dixie Electric team is here for you, serving the Montgomery and Auburn areas. Thank you for choosing a locally owned company.
For more information, go to calldixie.com.
Call Dixie and it's done.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
At Majestic Caverns, we believe in the power of unforgettable experiences. At a cool 60 degrees year-round, America's most historic caverns guarantees an enjoyable escape. But it doesn't stop there. With over 20 above-ground attractions, including 5 new ones this year, and our Cave Cafe, which offers delicious drinks and plenty of food options. And don't miss our exciting event, Libertas. On June 29th, July 6th, and July 13th, enjoy live entertainment and much more. At Majestic Caverns, your unforgettable adventure awaits.
Are you ready to save big on a new GMC?
At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, you can own one of the best-selling vehicles in the USA. The GMC Sierra pickup is discounted up to $14,500 off. The roomy and comfortable GMC Terrains are up to $8,250 off. And the GMC Acadias with 3 spacious rows and seating for 7, discounted up to $8,000 off. At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika,
get ready to smile.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Scott Hardy alongside Randy Lee, and now we're happy to be to welcome in our good friend Coach Smitty Grider from Benjamin Russell High School on the phone with us. Coach, you had a great night last night here in Alexander City with the quarterback club having their yearly drawdown at Russell Marine on Highway 280. Give us a little heads up on how everything went.
Well, I thought it was a great night. We tweaked the event a little bit, try to make it a little bit more of an event, and a party, and I think that went over well. The changes that we made, we had a great crowd. I feel like we'll total the money up next week, Scott and I will, and see where we are. But I know we sold significantly amount more tickets this year, and I really enjoyed myself last night. I thought it was a fun event, and we raised a good bit of money for the program.
Definitely did. You could just feel in there, Coach. I've been to a lot of these things over the year, and I'll brag on you a little bit. When you won 18 football games in your first 2 years, there's a lot of positive momentum around that. And we were right on the cusp of making the semifinals this past year, and you returned some outstanding talent again this year. So it helps to win. I said to a few people last night, when you're winning, everybody around the program and around the community seem a little bit more positive about everything.
Well, that's for sure. Winning solves a lot of things, and people want to be a part of a winner, and our community deserves it. This town is, it's always produced winners, and after a 4 or 5 year period there where some struggles, it's really good to see how happy people are to have us back on the winning side, and knowing they've got a program they can be proud of, and I'm just proud to be part of it. We've got a great group of kids. They're fun to be around, fun to coach, and they work hard, and it's a good time. It's a good time to be a Wildcat.
Let's segue and talk about some of those kids and your upcoming season as y'all are preparing this summer. Only one 7-on-7 tournament so far, but got some more coming up. Coach, talk about what all goes into summer for those that maybe aren't as involved as you and others are. How much work these kids go through in the summer, and how much exposure they are presented to them maybe in comparison to when you started coaching back, 30-plus years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. Summers are pretty involved now. We started practicing football on June 3rd. Nowadays we bring them in and we lift weights and we go to practice. It's not like, back when you guys were playing, all you could do was lift weights and run. You couldn't even take a football out. These days, summer's spent installing your offense and your defense, your special teams, and going to tournaments like we went to at Auburn 2 weeks ago. And, we've got 4 or 5 more of those kind of tournaments where we take and play 7-on-7. And for those out there that don't know what that is, that's basically your passing game. You have 7 defenders, and really it's only 6 on offense, but and you throw the ball. It's 2-hand or 1-hand touch, and there's a few different rules as far as how you move the ball and get first downs, but it's your secondary and your receivers and running backs throwing and catching against each other, and it's very involved. It's very competitive. When we went to Auburn, we played against Enterprise, North Gwinnett out of Atlanta, a school over 3,000 kids. We played Thompson twice, and we were scheduled to play Valdosta, who didn't come. So, that's the kind of competition you're facing when you go to these things, and that's what we want to do. We want to play against the very best, and it helps us get better, and it really gives our guys a chance, especially when we go places at college campuses, to really show the skill sets that they have and get the exposure. And on top of that, we've got guys that go all over the country to college skill camps and are trying to get exposure that way. So summers are really, really busy now.
Coach, we'll circle back with a couple of those players here shortly, but you're entering year 3 of your tenure here with the Wildcats, and so when you came in, the expectation to be a winner was pretty evident. You had a lot of talent coming back, but looking at year 1 of trying to build it back to now where, we're in a pretty good spot now, what's the mentality from a coaching perspective in going from trying to get to where we are now to maintaining where we are now?
Well, in high school, you don't, typically not supposed to. You don't get to recruit your kids, so you got to kind of develop your team based around your talent, what kind of players you have. So, each year you kind of look at what you have coming back, and when you start planning for your season and the offense and defense that you're going to run, kind of tailor what you want to do around the players. So, you know, we've done a lot of that. You're going to see a different product from us this year. I think it's still going to be highly successful. It's just going to be different, especially offensively. You know, we're going to be more of a run the football, play action, RPO kind of team. You know, we've got 5 offensive linemen back. We've got a 1,300-yard rusher and T.J. Wilson back. And so we're going to really focus on the running game a lot more now. That doesn't mean we're not going to throw it. You know, these days, being a running football team still means you're going to throw it, you know, 20-plus times a game. We've got Cedarian Morgan back, who's probably the best wide receiver in not only the state, but one of the best in the country. And he's going to garner a lot of attention. And so hopefully, you know, that attention's going to open up the running game for us and open up some other guys getting the ball. And I really think he's going to be a big-time influence on everything that happens with our offense this year. We're also, you know, we hire coaches as the years go on. You know, we have people come in, people come out, and so you bring in new coaches and new ideas and new philosophies, and things change a little bit from that standpoint. But our core values and our core of who we are will never change. We're going to be a, you know, very disciplined team, a hardcore team, hard-nosed football team that plays physical football. And so we just build off of that from year to year and continue to do the things that won for us in the past and that hopefully will help us continue to be successful in the future.
Coach, you lost a special quarterback last year, and Gabe Benton, just a super kid, and we wish him nothing but the best as he was a 3-sport athlete. But you've got a 3-sport athlete coming in at quarterback, and I've been very impressed with Elijah over the years, not only on the football field but basketball overall. I think he's a competitor. Maybe talk about your quarterback just a minute and what his skill set is that differs from Gabe, but I know you've got a lot of expectations of him too.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a kid like Gabe Benton, man. I mean, he's you know, he's one of the best that I've coached in my career, and not only was he a great player, he's a great kid, like you said, but you know, Elijah's going to bring a different skill set. He's doesn't have the size and the strength and all that, but I tell you what, he does have. The kid's a competitor. And, you know, you can see that when he plays other sports. You know, he's not afraid to take a shot in basketball. He's not afraid to make a play on a ball in baseball. And he's not afraid to make a throw in football. He's got that gunslinger mentality that there's not a play he can't make. And, you know, I'd rather have a kid I got to rein back a little bit than one I got to push towards that. And I think he's going to do a great job. At the 1707 tournament we've been to, he made some really incredible throws in some big situations, and you know, he doesn't shrink from the moment, and I think that's going to be evident as we go through the year. And you know, the kids rally around him too. He's a leader with those kids. They follow him, and I'm excited to see him play. He's not. I'll tell you this too. He's worked extremely hard in the weight room. He's much quicker. I think we're going to be able to take advantage of him running the ball some. Of course, we're going to have to be careful with that. We don't really have somebody behind him right now. We're still working to develop that. But Elijah's going to have a great year. I'm excited to see him get out there.
We're going to go a few minutes over. Just a note back in studio, so we'll keep Coach Grider on, and we'll catch back up on these breaks coming up. But, Coach, you've got a lot of talent on this team, but you've got two that I think are potentially going to be two of the biggest recruits our community's ever produced. And maybe take this opportunity to talk about those two young men. They're getting offers all over the country. You know, off the hoof, the thing that they bring to the table that maybe others haven't, that have been really good players here in the community, and I tell people that is, you know, they just got the size. They got the athleticism and the skill set that you're looking for at a very young age, and we've known it for a very long time since they were kids growing up in this community. Caleb Spivey and talking about Cedarian Morgan, two special talents that you've got on your team.
Yeah, we've had some really good players the last 2 years that didn't get as many opportunities as we'd hoped. But these two, I mean, you know, they started young. Started getting attention young. They've been to camps all over the country. Caleb's been. I know this summer alone he's been to up to Clemson and I don't know where all. And Cedarian just got back last week he went all the way up to Ohio State, went through Cincinnati on the way back, Kentucky, Tennessee. So, they've put themselves out there. And, you said it, they've got the tools, the size, they passed the eye test. And a lot of times that's the first thing that, the coaches see. They see that and they know they got a chance. And so they've taken advantage of those opportunities. Caleb comes in last year as a freshman and starts on our D-line, a team that really should have been a semifinal team, goes to the third round, and is a very effective. He's not just out there; he makes plays, and he's noticeable. And of course, what can you say about Cedarian? He's 6'4", he's 210 pounds. He's consistently running in the mid to low 4.5s when he gets timed in 40s. So they're the real deal, and both of them are obviously highly recruited already. I don't know. I think Cedarian's got 18 or 20 Power 5 offers, just about every SEC school except Georgia right now. So I can't say enough about them. Both of them work extremely hard, and that's evident by the product they put out, but also when you see them in the weight room and you see the effort they're putting forth. Just tell you a little bit about Cedarian. He was on the track team, and the first 3 days of spring practice, they were getting ready for the state track meet, so they couldn't really practice, but he was at practice every day coaching the wide receivers. He's that kind of kid. He's just a really humble kid. And he's willing to do whatever we need him to do for us to win. He's fun to be around. He's fun to coach. And Caleb's the same way. Caleb's not quite as vocal right now. He's a quieter kid. But, man, I think everybody's going to be really excited when they see him play this year.
Coach, to close, you got a great schedule that you've got lined up. You've got Opelika that you're starting with. I know that you've got a great history with that community and that program with your past being part of Coach McCracken's coaching staff there for a long, long time. Talk about that maybe and a little bit more about the schedule this upcoming season.
Yeah, that's a tough one right out of the gate, but I'm excited about it. That's a rivalry that's kind of died away for a while because I guess them being a bigger school and all. And, that was one of the things I wanted to do coming to Benjamin Russell was to get us a good schedule, get us playing the really good teams, and I'm excited about it. They've got a new coach, new excitement in their community, so they're going to come into our place this year. We play them at home, the first game with a big crowd and a lot of momentum and looking to see what they can do. So it'll be a good test for us, to see where we are on the season. You only get better by playing good teams. So that was another reason I wanted to have that kind of schedule. Our region schedule's tough again. We got Spain Park in our region now, dropping down from 7A, them and Chelsea both. So, Spain Park's got a lot of good players, obviously a lot of resources over there, so they'll be a really good team coming in, and we'll have to go to them. But I think it's going to be a great season. I think we'll be in position to have a chance to win another region championship this year and make a deep run in the playoffs. We got 6 home games, Randy. This year we'll play Charles Henderson for homecoming in the week 5 spot, and our game 10 is Percy Julian, Robert E. Lee out of Montgomery. It'll be senior night, and it's another team with a storied past and a lot of talent that'll be coming to us, and it's going to be a great year. With 6 home games, we should get a lot of momentum going into the playoffs, and the kids are working hard, and we're looking forward to it. We want to get the cart ahead of the horse. We hadn't really started talking about Opelika yet with the kids much. We're just really focusing on us, but I think it's going to be an exciting year for the Wildcats.
Good luck, Coach. We look forward to covering you, and if there's anything we can do, please let us know. But thank you out there, and that's Coach Smitty Grider. We appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir. I thank y'all for having me this morning. Thank y'all for coming to the deal last night, Scott, for everything you do, putting it on. And that was a lot of work put into that last night, Randy. We had a great group of parents that are in the Booster Club that met religiously over the last 3 or 4 months, planning the event last night and putting it together. I don't want to start naming names. I'll leave people off. Because we had a lot of people that worked hard to make that event happen, and I'm just grateful for all the support that we have right now. And thank you again for having me on this morning.
Thank you, Coach Grider.
Coach.
We appreciate you, and we'll go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls, 256-234-6221.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Are you ready to save big on a new GMC?
At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, you can own one of the best-selling vehicles in the USA. The GMC Sierra pickup is discounted up to $14,500 off. The roomy and comfortable GMC Terrains are up to $8,250 off. And the GMC Acadias with 3 spacious rows and seating for 7, discounted up to $8,000 off. At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika,
Get ready to smile.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex
city and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Daytonville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Got our good friend Luke Robinson on the phone with us. Luke, thanks so much. Summer months, but still a lot going on out there in the world of college athletics. And talk so far about new coach, thoughts around the new coach. Just give us a little heads up on how everything's worked out in the first couple of months.
Well, I think that I speak for most everybody when they were concerned about the transition and concerned how it's going to look when Nick Saban kept in office in the same vicinity, and you got a new guy coming in that doesn't really have any ties to the South. He's bringing in a staff with some guys that don't have as many ties to the South. Now, he did a great job of assembling a staff. One of the greatest things he did was bring in Kane Womack from down at South Alabama, and that has paid tremendous dividends. He also brought in Courtney Morgan, who is sort of the team's general manager, and he's been a godsend. This recruiting class is going to be on par with Nick Saban level recruiting classes. I mean, I don't know another way to put it right now. It is really blowing my mind. I thought there would definitely be a step back in that regard, if nothing else. I thought perhaps maybe the schemes may improve, or some of the coaching moves might improve, even though I still believe Nick Saban will be the greatest coach of all time. I thought that there may be a bit of a step back on recruiting, talent, acquisition, things like that. But my goodness, they are just knocking it out of the park. Alabama has the number 3 ranked class right now in the country on just about every service. They could be getting commitments from Mika Dubose and Dawson Merritt, 2 top 100 guys from just about every service again. Dawson Merritt out of Kansas is down to Alabama and Nebraska. And it seems a little weird Nebraska's on there, but they're making a push for a lot of guys. They're trying to get a lot of momentum behind that Dylan Raiola commitment from last year, and they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, they've got a new staff that knows what they're doing, that's been in the pros some, so they're trying to sell that. And it makes it tough for some guys because they're like, hey, I can go to Nebraska and be a superstar immediately, or I can go to Alabama and take my chances. There may be somebody better than me there. But I think Alabama's going to win that one out in the end for Dawson Merritt. And for Micah DeBose, this is a guy that down in the Mobile area, really good player, really good athlete, offensive lineman. He's everywhere he's gone, he's loved it. He reminds me a lot of Caleb Cunningham, the wide receiver out of Mississippi, that every time he goes on a visit, he's like, wow, this place is incredible. Wow, this place is incredible too. He's ironically on a visit to Alabama this weekend as well. I suspect he'll give them very glowing remarks. I suspect Alabama's also going to get a commitment from Ty Haywood, who's a five-star offensive lineman out of Texas. I think Alabama's going to put together in the end the best offensive line recruiting class in the country, and that's where you start things. That's what you got to have. Meanwhile, Keelan Russell, who Alabama flipped from SMU, and some people got a chuckle out of that. Well, all Keelan Russell has done since that time is shoot way up the charts and gone and won the MVP of the Elite 11. And he looked as smooth and put together and savvy as any of the quarterbacks that were there. He's long, got sort of a Lamar Jackson-esque build. I mean, thin but not wiry. I mean, he's put together nicely enough. And he can use his legs really well, but he doesn't necessarily want to. He'd rather throw the ball, and showed some accuracy. And, again, won the Elite 11 MVP. That's kind of a big deal. The last guy that played at Alabama that did that was Tua Tagovailoa. Now, Alabama had Julian Sayin, who won it committed, and, of course, he moved on to Ohio State. So just a lot of good things going on right now, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Alabama made a run at that number one recruiting class.
Luke, it is a great run so far, and you've got to have your ducks in a row from an NIL standpoint with a new coach, and maybe talk about that a bit. It feels like there is no step back from the organization side to be able to play that NIL game, to play all of the crazy recruiting games that you got to play today that were really the underbelly of recruiting for the majority of the history of our programs. But now it's right up front, and it's got to be communicated well, and it feels like the new coach is doing that.
Yeah, and I think he's very smart to understand, hey, I can't do it on my own. I think that was one thing that, look, this is just a theory of mine, nothing that Nick Saban ever said, but maybe he just was like, look, I take on so many responsibilities, I can't just pile on top of, hey, and figure out every single NIL scenario too. That's a lot to deal with. And I think that DeVore is going to delegate a lot of this stuff around his coaches. And when you look on social media, it's not Kalen DeBoer who's the most active. It is guys like Courtney Morgan. Kane Womack is active on social media. I mean, it's just other people that are out there trying to spread the good word. And I've seen some of the videos from some of these visits where these kids come to Tuscaloosa, and it's a little bit more lively than it was in the past. And, again, when you say these things, you almost feel guilty, like you're taking a shot at Nick Saban. I'm not. He's the best coach he's ever coached. But he had a different way, and his way was very successful. Now, Kalen DeBoer has a little bit of a different way. I mean, he's not just completely loosey-goosey, but he's loosened the grip just a little bit, and I think players are gravitating towards it. And it's especially cool this year because players who may have taken visits in the past to Alabama know more of the business aspect. Well, now they get to see more of the fun aspect, and I think it's really been a hit with a lot of these kids. So it's working out really, really well right now. And then when it goes to NIL, yeah, you've got to have a handle on it. You've got to be in sync with the collectives. You've got to be in sync with the whatever rules there are out there. I mean, I'm not even sure what the rules are. I doubt many of the coaches do. And I think a lot of them are ambiguous and open for interpretation, which can lead to some other serious trouble for the NCAA for the most part. But you look over at Florida, for example, and their recruiting classes in the 70s, they've got nothing but dudes all over the state. You would think they would just be like, okay, we're just going to get 10 guys that we know are pretty good and get our ranking up. And if we got to boot them later, we will. And that may be what happens, and you hate to sound so cold about it, but I think that's the new way to recruit. I mean, because the reverse does happen, where somebody like an Antonio Coleman commits to Bama, then flips to Auburn, then flips to Bama, or an Alvin Henderson goes to Penn State, loves it up there, says, I'm going to go to Penn State, and decides, nah, you know what, I'm just going to stay at Auburn. I mean, do we know? We don't know either way, but theoretically, he may have gotten some kind of reward for coming to Penn State initially, and he's just like, nah, I'll just keep that, and I'm coming down here. And again, I don't fault him. I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying that could happen, and I don't fault the kid. I don't fault anything. The system is messed up, and it's very, very difficult to understand what you can actually do and what obligation the recruits have too. That's another big part of this.
Well, Luke, speaking of difficult, for a while, Auburn fans have touted how difficult their schedule is in comparison to Alabama and Georgia and some of their foes, but saw a recent tweet of yours, a retweet of yours this week about Alabama having, one of the top 10 toughest schedules in the country. Just maybe talk about maybe a couple of the games that you're looking forward to, or what is making this schedule a little more difficult in comparison. Not to say it hasn't been difficult before, but maybe some games that you look at and say, all right, these could be some games that may be more troublesome than others.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Alabama's schedule is going to be tough. Now, look, Auburn's schedule has been tough over the last several years, but that's mostly also due to the fact that Auburn hadn't been very good most of this time. I mean, Vanderbilt's schedule should be the toughest schedule in the country every year because they don't play any other Vanderbilts, in the SEC at least. Now, they don't typically play somebody out of conference, but when they do, that's just another bona fide 100% loss if it's anybody worth their salt. And, when Auburn is doing things like losing to Mississippi State and losing to teams like that just makes or New Mexico State, it makes their schedule look even harder because it makes them look worse at the same time. But I think Alabama and Georgia, I think both of them have tougher schedules than Auburn this year. First of all, they play each other, Alabama and Georgia do. And Alabama and Georgia have a much tougher non-conference game than Auburn does. Auburn's playing Cal, Alabama's playing at Wisconsin, and Georgia's playing Clemson, along with Georgia Tech. I mean, I still think Georgia Tech's better than Cal. I don't think Georgia Tech's a great team or anything. But then Alabama travels to Oklahoma. Georgia travels to Texas. Georgia's got to go to Ole Miss. That's not going to be easy. Alabama goes to Tennessee, to LSU. A lot of tough games out there for the Tide and Bulldogs this year. And there have always been people that say, hey, they end up getting the easier schedule in the SEC. Well, typically because they can't play themselves, and those have been the two bell cows. I mean, Alabama has played LSU forever, and Tennessee has gotten better and given Georgia a little bit more of a fight recently. But Florida, meanwhile, they've been so helter-skelter. It's kind of awful that rivalry has taken a big dip because that is one of the greatest rivalries in college football, and Florida just isn't doing their part right now, and that's a shame. But this schedule is a lot of fun. I think that, one thing I'm hoping that the committee, and this is why I love having a committee in college football. I know Danny Cannell is very much against it. He wants to do it more like the pros, where, you have all these divisions, and if you win your division, you get in. And the problem with that is there's too many teams in college football to really make that happen. And you're going to leave out some great teams and include some mediocre teams that play in terrible divisions. And I don't want to see that happen either. I'm all for a committee. And I think having a committee, so for next year, for example, not 2024, but 2025, Alabama plays Wisconsin at home. They play at Florida State. They play at Georgia. They play at Auburn. They play Tennessee and LSU and Oklahoma at home. And, yeah, I could easily see 3 losses on that schedule. But you know what? If they only lose 3 losses on that schedule, I think they should get in the playoffs. There's no doubt in my mind they should be in the playoffs. I think it's because Iowa's not playing that. So if Iowa only loses 1 or 2 games versus Alabama losing 3 against that schedule, I think Alabama's done more. And I think that another place you can look at to prove that is basketball this year. I mean, Auburn and Alabama, both 4 seeds. Auburn felt they were underseeded. Some people thought Alabama was overseeded. But what a lot of people didn't take into account was Auburn's schedule was not good, or at least their non-conference, and Alabama's was very arduous. And so Bruce Pearl took a lesson from that, and he made his schedule tougher this year. He said, I'm going to go out and get, the best people I can find that'll play me, and it's worked out great. And he might lose more games this year, but I think it's going to pay dividends on the backside. And I think that's what these committees are for, to understand, like, hey, if Team A plays a bunch of soup cans and Team B tries to make the sport more entertaining for the masses, Team B ought to be rewarded for that, and Team A ought to be slightly punished for it.
Great points, Luke, and we appreciate it this Saturday. You have a great weekend, okay, buddy?
All right, guys, have a good day.
Thank you. That's Luke Robinson. We'll go ahead and take another break. Got a couple of more segments here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs. Or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
OGS Tournaments presents Crank for Bank. Win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 75 tag crappie are waiting to be caught by you in Lake Martin. Register now online at crankforbank.com for only $120. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or the shores of Lake Martin to win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. It's Crank for Bank.
I'm always interested, Scott, as the summer kind of starts coming to an end and you've got fall football coming up. New players, how big have they gotten? What's the change? The newcomers that are coming into the schools, especially today, because some of these freshmen have been on campus 6 months by the time you play the first game, so they're really not a freshman per se in the same regard as when you and I were in school and you would only be there for several weeks, and then you're expected to go out there if you were talented enough to play. That's really not the case right now. So looking at Auburn, as we just talked about Alabama, some weight change differences for Auburn that we've talked a little bit about, but some of these linemen have really put the weight on. You hope that it's in a good spot. T.J. Lindsey up 19 pounds. Amaris Williams, who's a newcomer, up 16 pounds already, up to 269. Jason Jones up 15 pounds to 355. Austin Keys, a linebacker, 15 pounds up to 247. Joseph Phillips, an incoming freshman from Booker T. Washington's already up 11 pounds to 251. Cam Coleman, maybe one that many would look. Cam weighed 180. I think he was listed at 6'3", 180 out of high school. He was already up to 188, 189 when we played in the spring game. Has put on another 9 pounds since that spring game and is up to 6'3", 197 pounds. Yeah, I don't know how much more you need. You kind of are getting to the point where that's pro size, that's pro athleticism, and Cam Coleman's. I hope he breaks all expectations that we have of him this year.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of some comparisons for him from a professional standpoint, and like I feel like he's like a Andre Johnson type of guy who, you know, he can make the catches, but his size maybe you don't look at him as fast as he probably is, kind of deceptively fast. So he's going to be someone that I think makes an immediate contribution, but he already looks the part. Him and the contingent of the Freeze 4, you've been seeing some of the videos, and you can already tell that, you know, that weight room has been utilized by these guys.
Well, 6'3", 197. Hopefully he runs a time, and you hate to compare anyone to Julio Jones just from but Julio that first year at Alabama. I mean, you watched him out there on the field, and you say, this guy don't look normal. I mean, he's already built. He's already primed for it. 6'3", 197 after what we saw in the spring. I think he's going to be the go-to guy. Now, there's some others that we're going to bring up here that are also big and the big-time recruits for Auburn, and some of them are newcomer. But here's some of the newcomer measurables. Keandre Lambert-Smith, 6'1", 182. The number that we had coming in was 6'1", 185. So really the size he is, he's multi-years into a very good program at Penn State. But good size, 6'1". Perry Thompson. He was listed at 6'3", 205. Now he's 6'3", 222. I've seen this guy with other athletes, and he looks big amongst other athletes. 6'3", 222, incoming freshman Perry Thompson. Hopefully going to be special. From an athleticism and a physicality standpoint, he already looks special.
Well, I mean, just talking about the measurables, I know you have to produce on the field, but Auburn hasn't had skill position guys, specifically at the receivers position, who look like this.
Not multiples.
Multiple, yeah. I
you
mean,
may have a Seth Williams, but you're not going to have multiples.
Yeah, and I mean, that entire wide receiver room from last year to this year is a complete 180 in terms of how they look, and hopefully that translates to success on the field. But we look like some guys who can go do something. We talk about that a lot in high school, like when they're getting off the bus. We got a lot of people that when they get off the bus, they look like they can produce.
Yep. Malcolm Simmons, who will wear number 16, by the way, was listed at 6'1", 175 before coming in. He's now 6'1", 179. I don't know how much bigger Malcolm's going to get. I mean, he's kind of like Keandre Lambert-Smith. He's 6'1", 182 after 3 or 4 years in a Penn State program. That's what you are. You know, you put on some more weight, it may slow you down. I think Malcolm's the same size kid. He may end up getting to 190. I don't know how much bigger you want him to get.
Yeah.
And he's just full of athleticism, and so a really good sized kid and gonna have an opportunity to play early, I would suspect. DeAndre Carter was 6'3.5", 356, has dropped 11 pounds down to 6'4", 345. Chambers, he's up 11 pounds. You look at Isaiah Rakes, up 10 pounds. Crawford, up a couple of pounds. Bleedy has dropped 11 pounds. I made mention of this to Andy. If you look at the linemen, I mean, they're watching this thing daily. There's a decision that's already being made with health and nutritionists that are deciding, okay, we think you can play better if you're down 12. And so I kind of look not necessarily at the size that you are or how much bigger you've gotten, because sometimes growth's not good. But some of these that you're seeing drops, I'm guessing were needed drops on the linemen.
Yeah, and, you know, everyone gets excited on the measurables, as you said, and seeing the increase in weight. But a lot of times, too, as a defensive lineman or offensive lineman, needing that 10 to 12-pound difference, maybe getting off the edge or being able to protect, I think that, as you said, they're as informed as you could be about maintaining your body and the proper nutritional plan. So I like to see that too.
Transfer numbers, number 5 will be Keandre Lambert-Smith. Isaiah Rakes will wear number 22 this year. Kieron Crawford will wear 24. Ronan Chambers, number 74. And Philip Bleedy will wear number 96. Freshman summer enrollees, these are the numbers that they will wear. Number 3 will be Perry Thompson. Number 16, Malcolm Simmons. Number 26, Amon Lane Gaines. And number 78, DeAndre Carter. So that's just some updates from Auburn football right around the corner, and we'll talk a lot about it as we head into the fall season. We'll go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll close out the Saturday Sports Countdown.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started. Go ahead and carry over a conversation you and I were having during the break. And, you know, we had a great night last night at Russell Marine. Thanks to Smitty Grider for coming on and talking about the quarterback club drawdown and the money that was raised and the program as a whole, and hopefully continued success there, as I do think we've got a tremendous coach that is very passionate about the area and wants to make sure that things. But, you know, during the break we were talking about some talent that we have. And, you know, there's a lot of discussion that goes on, whether do you like NIL, do you like the way that this is set up? I hate it, I wish it was back to the other. But man, if you got the golden ticket, cash that joker in. You know, the worst thing I can see for a kid, and we've had the good fortune here in our community to see a few that's having this opportunity right now. I just don't want to see you squander it. Just whatever you do, don't mess this up. Because not many people in this world, in this lifetime, get a golden ticket. And when you got it, man, just take advantage of it. And so I'm proud for our kids. Man, go get it. Somebody give you something, take it. Handle it the right way, and hopefully you got the right people around you. But gosh knows, don't ever say I'm sorry for taking something that somebody's willing to give you. And I'm very proud that we got some kids that got that opportunity, Scott. And we do. They're going to cash in a major golden ticket over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and that's really been the biggest thing for me in my response to NIL is that, a lot of times these kids, they're just good college athletes. Like, they may not get an opportunity to play pro, but they're very beloved by their fan base. And so there's an opportunity for some of these people to change, can create some generational wealth through this process. And so in the very beginning, we heard a lot of conversations about how we're going to provide financial literacy and we're going to help. So that part, I think, has gotten totally dismissed. Mm-hmm. And that needs to be interjected back into the conversation because, you're dealing with 19, 20-year-old millionaires now that a lot of times are coming from a situation where they've never experienced or been exposed to that type of money and what to do with it. So I think that the colleges have an obligation, and I know a lot of them are doing things, but I would want to be more out front about that too. And from a parental standpoint, when you're recruiting these guys, say, listen, we're going to take care of them. And so we're going to teach them about money. We're going to teach these things. That's the component of it that I think is being missed because, again, if you're somebody who's going to get $150,000 a year for your time at Auburn, and you come from somewhere you didn't have that, all right, somebody probably does need to be involved in helping that. And that's the responsibility of the collective or the university, whatever it may be. But that's an educational point from financial literacy I think is necessary.
Well, it's kind of like crime in general. You got white-collar crime, blue-collar crime, and which one's worse or, kids screw up. You and I know families that come from generational money that don't have a pot to piss in anymore. And I'd say give the kid a chance. Give them the opportunity. If they got the golden ticket, and I'm so thrilled that we've got a few here that have got the golden ticket, and give them a chance. And if they mess it up, so be it. But at least they had an opportunity to go out there and do it. And, that was not the case. You had to have a bag man. There had to be cash that was put under the table. And I had friends of mine that were offered all kinds of stuff to come and play and to do that. And it was an ugly thing that went on, but everybody kind of expected it, but didn't talk that much about it. But now you don't have to hide from it. School wants to bring you up north, show you around, pay you money to come and check it out, take your money. Be happy with it. And so, Scott, I think that there's a lot of good things that could come from this, and I think you're exactly right, though. Having the right people, that's in anything, though. Mm-hmm. Having the right people around you, giving you the right set of advice is probably the most important thing. And, I know that you try to do that. You're very involved in trying to do that with a lot of our local kids, and that's important. I don't think you can do it enough for some of them, but sure do like seeing them get that opportunity.
Yeah, and it's so much fun now. Like, there was a stretch where Benjamin Russell was producing year after year SEC caliber guys. A lot of them went to Auburn, and we've had some play other places, and it's been a while since the school and the community have had that type of attention. And so Malcolm kind of got a lot of that started through his recruitment, but now with Sedarian, and now what we're seeing with I was about to call him Elijah, Caleb, they're going to continue to do it. And what that does also is, if you're somebody like an Elijah who maybe wouldn't have gotten those, now you're going to start getting looks. Mm-hmm. It may not be at a Georgia, Alabama, but you're getting an opportunity to go play somewhere where it fits your model of what you're trying to do. So it's going to be good for everyone. But these next 2 or 3 years, if you like seeing these people walking sidelines and coming to high school basketball games and check out, you're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to thank all of you for tuning in out there every Saturday morning from 7 to 9. Make sure to reach out to us. We want to spotlight your kids in your community. AHSAA Radio Network, our outlets on social media. If you got players, athletes that you would like for us to spotlight, find us. Let us know. For Scott Hardy, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to the Saturday Sports Countdown.
If you listen carefully,
you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
With summer here, the kids out of school, and fun at the lake, illness or injury can strike at any time. Whether you're on vacation or just don't have time to go see your primary doctor, visit your friends and professionals at Ivy Creek Urgent Care, located at Highway 49 South, next to Stillwater's main entrance. With a rotation of 4 professional doctors and 3 nurse practitioners, they honor all walk-ins, get you in, properly treated, and out swift so you can be back to the summer fun fast. When you need urgent, see Ivy Creek Urgent Care, Dadeville. No appointment needed.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.